All right, today we're going to be working with tints and shades again. You're going to get your paper and you're going to write your name and your teacher on the back. As this is going on, if you are not done with your cardboard, you can have that out as well and fill in anything else with the paint we have. So once you're done with writing your name, flip over to the front. We're going to be making some tops of trees. So my first tree I'm going to do a little bit off to the side, and the top half I'm going to make kind of a fluffy poof. I'm going to do a smaller one to the other side that goes off the paper. And your poofs don't have to be the same as mine, but I'm doing some that are in front and some are behind. This next one, I'm gonna make it look like it's kind of behind both of these. So I'm gonna do kind of connecting lines like that. And I'm gonna do one more that's just kind of peeking out. It's a little shorter from behind this one. So I kind of have 4, 2 or more in front. Maybe this one has an extra poof under it, and 2 or more kind of under. All right, so we're going to do the tints first of the tops of the tree. So these are like kind of like cherry or cherry blossom trees. It does not matter if these are not very even, but let's start with an even. Let's try to start with at least a base layer that is semi-even. So I think I'm adding my dark color to my light. I think I'm going to do my first one like this. I'm gonna add texture to it later with some of the extra red that I have. I kind of want to dark too fast. So I'm gonna scoop this extra white over here and try to make a slightly lighter one. So when you're mixing, try to do little by little. Let's try to make 3 different kinds of pinks. Maybe one that's almost red. Okay. Make another tint of red, which would be another kind of pink. So you should be able to tell the difference between the trees. Even if you do like 2 lights and 2 darks, you should see where the edge is by the color, not just the line. And I'm gonna make this one like almost completely red. Okay, so notice how I kept my colors a little separate. You probably did that too, just because you're trying to get colors that kind of work together. After you're done with that, you're going to take opposite sides of the tint and create texture. What I mean by that is that if there's a dark tree, try to use a light pink to make texture. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna dip it into the color you're going to use on top, and then I want you to kind of blot it onto the top tray until it starts to get kind of dotty. So you don't want a glob of paint, you only want a little bit of it so that it creates this kind of texture. So dip some paint, try to blot some off so that way it's a little drier, and then add texture to those trees using the opposite end of the tint spectrum. So if it's a dark tree, use light tint. If it is a light tree, use almost like pure red. I may actually even use some white on both of these because that would be, going to make a little more contrast. this one I could just do pink. Maybe that one I'll do white. Just try to do as pure white as possible. If you want to get real technical, it would be good to have lighter poofs near the top for like highlights and sunlight, and darker poofs near the bottom, and that's only if you want to get really technical with making it kind of look like shadowing. All right, now that you have your trees, let's go ahead and you can pause if you need to, play that again. Let's wash our brush, and we're going to make the trunks next. So the trunks are going to be shade. So what I want you to do is add a tiny bit of black to the other pile of red, like a tiny bit. Like it should not change that much at all. And I want you to do one kind of darker red stem that goes, or trunk that goes almost to the tree but stops a little short of it. And it doesn't have to be straight, but it should stop before the tree. Like that. All right. Add some more dark to it. Let's make this more like a super dark burgundy or brown. Now you have a big brush and a little brush. We're going to use our little brush, and we're going to, or actually we're going to use a big brush once and make a Y. So you have the trunk. You want to make a Y coming off of the trunk like that. And it can go into the tree a little bit. Now we're not done. What I want you to do is take your little paintbrush, and I want you to make more Ys that kind of come out of your trunk. So just more kind of Ys that make it more like a gradual lessening of how thick the trunk and the sticks are. You could even do some down here, coming out of your trees. Like this one had one coming out of the tree. And if you do Ys, it will make it look more like branches. They're going to be upright. They're going to go into the branches. And like I said, you can make a few extras on the bottom and then fill those in with extra tints, if you have them still, on the other side of your palette. I made this one a little too even. Now it's like hands. Okay. All right, and go back if you want to, add some more tints. The danger is that I'll make a little bit of black in it. It might turn a tiny bit gray, but that's why we did them first. All right, looks good. If you want to, you could try to do the background a very, very light tint. You don't have to, but if you feel like that it feels a little empty, you could try to take a very light pink and just kind of, I would almost make it watery. Just kind of spread it. Like that. but that's up to you. We definitely, if you make it watery, we'll need a minute before we can move it to the drying rack. Hindsight being 2020, you probably should have just done a very light pink background to begin with. All right. There we go, our tints and shades like cherry blossom trees for spring.